not supposed to touch our faces.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Good.
As I was about to lean on mine.
That's in public.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, thank
All
you.
right.
Hey, Sheila.
He got us. Yeah, he got us.
Good.
Alvin's here also.
How can I turn my picture
And
off?
two Sheilas, go
How can
figure.
you turn your picture off? We don't want you to turn your picture.
I'm gonna go eat,
Yeah.
so I don't want to.
That's okay.
No.
I
Okay.
started with Alvin, why not?
Are you there?
Yeah, he sees us.
Oh.
So, you can see us.
No, we can't see you.
Let's see. Chris, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, we can't see you yet. There
Oh,
you
there
are.
you go.
Hey, you
Oh,
dressed
good.
up for us.
Okay.
Wait a second. Whose office is that? We have to behave. We're, gonna be, we're being recorded.
Hi.
It's fine. I already told him I'll edit this part out.
Streaming it also. So that you can-
Good night, Steve. Valerie.
Tracy, it's hard for me to censor myself. Yeah, it's a
Oh, it's nice to see everyone. We've got
Wow.
the free.
How do I get myself off? But I still want to hear you all.
Here, Sheila, Eileen, I'm going to do you a favor. You really want me to turn your video off so that we don't see you?
Not me, that isn't Sheila. That's Eileen.
Yeah, I know. Eileen, do you want me to
Yes.
turn your video off so no one sees you?
Right now while I'm eating, but I want to hear you all, or I want to hear everybody.
Eileen,
Yes.
you now cannot
So
see
that's
you.
our next picture.
Okay. I like
That'll be
that.
seen.
The other chair. Brian.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh,
that's funny.
I should highlight. I could spotlight Chris, but that would not be
No.
here.
They're just getting, Rabbi Amy and Rabbi Alex are here.
There.
They're just getting-
There, Chris. You are now officially Chris. Here.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, look at Karen.
Want this chair?
Rosemary and Jim. Rosemary and Jim, are you in Arizona?
We are.
Oh,
Yep.
look at you.
Jim, how are you doing? Jim, how are you doing?
Better. It's a slow process, but I'm.
Awesome. This is so
So-
nice. Wow.
Lovely.
Wow.
Lovely. Oh, at least outside we can see the nice sunshine.
I like the sun.
We're indoors. Let's go
Mom
outside.
and Dad.
That's what we're gonna do after this.
Which mom and dad?
My mom and dad.
Your mom and dad are on this?
Hello. Okay.
I'm gonna allow people allow participants to rename. Want to rename yourself, you're allowed to. Like,
That's what you hear.
we want to see if Steve Hector's
Ah,
I don't know.
don't fit on my screen. There we
how
go.
nice.
My internet connection is unstable. What does that mean?
That means your internet connection's unstable.
Thank you. No.
It may go in and out, and it's just internet. It happens to us all the time. So if
Move closer to the router. That's our router.
It's as close to the router as it can be. I'm in the laundry room.
Yeah, now that could be the problem too.
Yeah, there's a button in there. Right.
Here's your black cherry, here's a glass.
There's a place to be. Whoever's coming in and out.
nice.
Rosie,
It's we're 2 minutes from
it's Shirley.
spotlight. 1, 2.
One.
I'll explain that in the beginning.
Where you going?
That's very nice. Mom and Dad, what time is it there? Are you Whoa, looking like pro?
Eileen's iPad keeps kicking in.
You have to open up the laptop and get your pictures.
Eileen and Harvey.
No, that's Cheryl and Harvey.
Somebody with Harley.
It's Eileen.
What are you guys doing? Somebody is messing it up.
Right.
Gone?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can go up to 49 on this now.
I can't understand this.
Hey, John.
You put on your new background there. There it's
That's starting. Oh, I got. Why is Eileen's iPad 2 showing up all the time?
I'm here, but I'm eating lunch, so I'm not on video. I'm here. It's Elaine.
This is what Rabbi Alex always wanted to do.
This is wonderful.
He disappeared.
You must have.
Look at you guys.
The background, he had a beach scene.
No virtual background.
There.
You didn't listen.
We did that yesterday. You become a hologram, I think.
Okay.
It's free.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay, when we start, we'll be good. Yes, Paul, I'm about to do that, but you stopped me from doing it because I had to look at your chat. Here it goes. I am muting all for a second. There's no problem with your computer. I am muting all. And let's see if that actually worked. Did it mute all? Talk.
Yes.
Let's see. Good. No talking. It's the greatest thing in the world to be able to mute all as a rabbi. I'm telling you. So
we can't let this power get to his head. You know what could happen.
It's a beautiful thing. So I see quite a few people who are new to Zoom. So let me give you a few Zoom instructions before we begin. First of all, if your screen shows a lot of pictures, for most people, that's their favorite. But some people can't handle that much stimuli. So you can also change your view to speaker view. So if you change your view to speaker view, like I'm doing right now for us, you would just see us, which is very scary. But you can go to gallery view, which on our computer, it's the top right-hand corner of the page. If you have an iPad or phone, you might have to tap it or scroll it with your finger on the screen until you see more pictures. This is going to be a conversation with Chris. We see her on our screen. Every screen is different. So if you think it's to the top right, it could be different for us. I'm also going to unpause. Here we go. There we go. And so to understand there, and also we just changed our computer screen. If you have a bigger screen, there is a setting under video settings near your camera that you can actually have, like we can have up to 39 pictures on our screen instead of like 25 or 20. So you can change it. The plan would be that I'm going to try to control the spotlight view. The spotlight view that's what you see if you're not in gallery view. If you only see us, you're in speaker view. But if you're in gallery view, you'd still see us, but you would see us in a little square. So when Chris comes on, and I'm going to unmute Chris. Chris, you are now unmuted. So here, wait, no, you're still muted. You have to unmute yourself. Okay, you have yourself muted. So it's going to be up to you. Let's see. In 3, 2, 1. There you. Let's see. Are you still trying to unmute yourself? Okay. That was me. I muted you back up. That's me. Go. Stop.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Good.
So now there's only 2 people you can hear, and that would be Chris. Chris, can you say hello?
Hello.
Go ahead. Okay, so now we've got 2 people unmuted. But we, unfortunately with Zoom, the limitations are there can only be 1 spotlight. So I'm going to take the spotlight off of us, okay, which is not on anyway. Actually, I'm probably just going to leave it this way because it's going to be Chris and the rabbis. So Rabbi Amy, you want to explain what we're doing here this afternoon?
Sure.
And then we'll keep
So
on
first,
going.
I will say that it is so nice to see all of you. I would imagine that it makes you all as happy as it makes us to see everyone's faces. It's just, I know I say that every time, but it makes such a huge difference. And it's so nice to see your faces. So good afternoon. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. This is our second week of Monday afternoons with Rabbis Alex and Amy,
Amy and Alex.
or Amy and Alex, whichever way you go. Last week we talked about Passover, and this week we are getting to know Chris Benton. And we are so excited. We reached out to her and she said absolutely. She was happy to talk with us. And we thought, we wanted to have a way for people to get to know Chris. We're really excited that she's with us. And so we thought, well, let's do this. Let's pick a first Mondays and people can get to know her. So Chris, we're going to ask you some questions. Where'd you go? There you are.
So you know what? We're going to put you, Chris, we're going to on our computer, and you can do it yourselves. If you go to speaker view now, when you talk to Chris, you'll be able to see her better. Actually, I'm going to put her on spotlight. Sorry. Okay, Chris, that I have the control over. Oh, you just switched over your spot. Wait, let me find her again. Where'd she go? Okay, there she is.
There she is, red with a smile.
So
okay.
Change your spotlight video. Here we go. And spotlight video. There you go. Now we see a big you. Okay. And we see.
Here I am.
So Chris, let's start out. Want to tell us a little, just tell us a little bit about you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
So can you hear me? I'm getting an unstable internet connection, so.
Well, talk to the executive director.
Welcome to Bethel, Chris.
Oh God, you're not frozen. We'll let you know if you're frozen. We'll text you and say you froze.
Okay, sounds good. So a little bit about myself. Well, I was born and raised in Leechburg. I went to Chatham College. I have a degree in Russian and poli-sci with an international law focus, and an undeclared minor in philosophy religion, although I'm assured that I'm not going to have to lead services. So that's a good thing.
Like learning. Don't be surprised.
I live in Leechburg right now, although we are going to relocate when things calm down here with this coronavirus. But I still live in Leechburg with my husband and our 2 dogs. So that's
what are their names?
The dogs.
So I have Beasley the bulldog.
And 2 if you want.
A little silky terrier. Her name is Kayla. So
very nice. Okay. Well, you know what? We're going to start the interview. We will allow other people to ask questions. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the best way to ask questions we have found on Zoom, if you have the ability, is we only allow chat between you and the host. So you can't start saying things terrible to everyone. So therefore, if you have a question for Chris, you can send it. If we might not get to every question, but if you send us a question to Chris, we'll ask it on your behalf, because unmuting is a little crazy out here. So here we go, but we'll start it off so we can start you some questions, Chris. We won't pepper you for more than an hour or 53 minutes. Okay. So First question. Okay. First question is, why Bethel? Why did you pick us?
okay, so thankfully you picked me. But I've really always been inspired by the idea of life's work. And I've worked in a congregation. I worked at Road of Shalom for 15 years, and I loved congregational life. I decided toward the end of my tenure there that I wanted to try some new things, which I did. And while I enjoyed them, I was really yearning to come back to congregational life. So when I started job searching, but it was sort of in the background. It wasn't like I had to leave where I was currently working. And I was still finding motivation in my work, but I really wanted to, again, get back into congregational life. So when the position at Bethel became available, I decided to take a chance and send in my resume, which I did. And throughout the process, I was really impressed by 2 things. One, of course, is the rabbis. So you guys have the dynamic duo. It really seemed like a team that I could become a part of easily. And the other was congregational involvement. So I found that extremely appealing. I feel that there are opportunities for members to plug in old and new at lots of levels. And so that's, in my opinion, extremely valuable. When you have too much that's staff driven, you don't have as much participation and ownership. So I think that's really important. So I would say that's why Bethel.
Very nice.
So there was a question that I thought was a good one. Now, I'm sure they'll all be good ones, but the first one I saw was, did you have a chance to work with Steve? Can you tell us like when you started and how much time you had to work with Steve? And
we know the answer, but the other 70 people don't.
Right.
Sure, absolutely. So I started on March 22nd. So that was just when really all these restrictions were sort of coming into play. So I wasn't sure how that would work, but I was really happy with having an opportunity to work with Steve between the 22nd and then the end of the month. So April 1st was my first solo day.
Mazel tov.
Great.
And Justin's birthday.
That's right, April Fool's Day.
So a little more about you. So how would you describe your work style?
So I like a mix of out front and detail-oriented work that I do by myself. And I find that administration really gives you that opportunity. So I love interacting with members and being part of events and services, but then I also like balanced with more solitary work, if you will. And I like being part of a team and seeing goals accomplished together. I don't like silos at all.
What do you like to do for fun?
So I like to go to the parks. There's a national park near where I live. So we go there a lot with our dog.
Wait. Stop. You're frozen. Wait.
For the next.
Wait, stop. Okay, you got frozen.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All we heard was you like to go to the park. There's a national park near your house.
Okay, park with my dogs. We've tried that. And then finding frozen custard stands, new places for frozen custard.
Yeah, your dad likes frozen custard.
My dad does like.
He's on.
Well, yeah, we'll have to ask you. Maybe you can share with us all the good frozen custard places around that we should check out.
Absolutely.
I got a two-part question.
Okay.
What is your proudest achievement inside of work and outside of work? So what are your proudest achievements inside of work and outside of work?
Okay, so inside of work is easy. So at my last job, I had started and as a development director, and a friend of mine called and said, "Hey, I found this really great lead on a grant." And so I went to my boss and I told her about it, and she said, "We've tried that." Okay, but I really had a strong feeling about it. And I said, well, if I do it on my own time, can we apply? And so rather reluctantly, it was like, okay. So I had asked when I got there, all of our teachers, I worked at a school, asked all of our teachers for their wish lists. So if I had money coming in, what would be on your wish list? And so I was only 2 people responded, and I was able to hone in very quickly on a project. And so I asked this local company for $25,000 and I got it. And I developed a relationship. And that was really, I think, what it's all about, is developing those relationships. Asked their engineers to come in and partner with our robotics teachers. The following year, they invited us again to submit a proposal, and I got another 25,000. So that was of most recent accomplishment that I was really proud of. And personally, I think a strong marriage. So my husband and I have been married for 23 years, and we are each other's biggest fans. He spent the first 8 years of our marriage on the road. So out on Monday, home on Thursday or Friday. So that was a hard way to start things off. And now he's able to work from home, and we see each other all the time, which presents additional challenges. But I'm really proud of having that support. And so that would be.
Nice.
Good answer.
That's lovely. Was there a person in your career who has really made a difference in your life?
Yes, without hesitation, that would be Jeff Herzog. He was our executive director at Road of Shalom, and he hired me, he promoted me, and he gave me really the confidence to continue to push myself to the next challenge. And I would not be sitting here today without his encouragement and support. He's been a mentor and a friend, and he would be it.
All right. I'm glad I'm not the one getting asked the
Yeah.
questions. Thank God it's you, not me. What would you do if you won the lottery?
Retire to Hawaii now. I would actually start an animal rescue.
Oh. So you're a big animal fan.
Yes, yes.
Tell us about some
All
of the
animals?
animals that you like, or that are your favorites, or.
So I grew up with a non-yippy poodle, if there is one, but we had a fantastic dog growing up. And then my husband's family actually bred and showed collies. And then when he and I got married, we decided to go out and get our dream dogs. Mine was a little Pomeranian and his was a bulldog. And I caught that bulldog bug. And then when we lost our first two, we got another bulldog, actually from right around the corner from Temple Emmanuel is where our breeder lived. And then we rescued a little silky terrier. So big part of our lives.
So a question from the congregation: what are your goals for the first 90 days in this new role?
Well, they're a lot different now than what I thought they would be. Certainly with having limited events and activities in the building. So the first would be to reach out to past presidents to see sort of to communicate with them and get as much information as I can from them, learn about the congregation, connect with our staff and keep staff together. I mean, we're all kind of all over the place, some in the building, some not in the building, and things may change in the coming weeks. So that's certainly something that we have to work on. But understanding what are the issues, I'm going to be doing a lot of listening and seeing where we can make improvements.
That's good. I think I see 3, 4, maybe even 5 past presidents online right now. So yeah, a good answer. Okay, let's see. Okay, I got another personal one. What is your favorite memory from childhood?
So that would be summers with my grandparents at Lake Edinburgh. So they had a place right on the lake, and we would spend May to September at their place. So lots of outdoor activities and fun.
We had an outdoor retreat. We're gonna have to do it again. We loved it, for the synagogue, and
Awesome.
And you can bring your dogs.
Yes, and he takes, and it was so
Remember the park? Yeah,
cold.
100 years.
It was, we went in, I think in May,
Oh yeah, that
and
was.
it was so cold that we were all in cabins freezing, but you know, some of those, it's those times that you remember.
I was thinking about the 100-year picnic that was nice out.
Oh, that was lovely too.
That's
That was
not
lovely.
freezing in those. They
That
tore
was
them
fun
down.
too. Oh, I
was so
liked it. So, what are your hopes for working with Bethel? What are your hopes for Bethel and your work? Would you say?
Well, I would say to really become a team with the rabbis and the board leaders, and have a shared vision and do my part to execute that from the executive level.
Very nice. Keep sending your chat questions. We're hitting those as well as our own. What techniques and tools do you use to keep yourself organized?
Well, I would say I'm a lifelong fan of, what's his name? David Allen's Getting Things Done. I'm also a fan of routines. So I'm pretty method in how I work. I think of my day in chunks of time or blocks of time. So when I get into the office, I try to focus on things that don't require me interacting with people because it's early. So I'm not making phone calls when I get in, but I'm taking care of those administrative tasks that are more solitary. And then I block out time to make phone calls and reach out to people later in the day. And that's how I stay organized.
Very interesting. Okay. And we are almost, just so you all know, we are almost done with the questions that we have.
Right.
So please feel free, if you have any, throw them out there. What is the last book that you read, and did you enjoy it? Do you like reading?
I do. I actually just finished High Performance Habits by Brendan Bouchard. And that's been an interesting one. You know, it's hard when you read some of these organizational books or motivational books. They all have systems, and you can kind of get bogged down in a system of the week or a new thing. But he definitely had some good tips for me to start implementing. So I'm working on it.
Very nice. Okay, I got one of those fruity ones. List 5 words that describe yourself. Oh, you froze again.
Oh,
okay.
Wow. Yes.
So,
wait, you froze. Thank God you froze with a smile on, because sometimes you can freeze in the worst ways. You froze with a smile. You are unfrozen. Okay.
Okay. So 5 words. I asked my husband for help with this one. So he said definitely his 2 are organized and focused like a bull.
Is a bull focused?
I don't know. But focus. I can be serious, sincere, and friendly.
Oh, very nice.
Okay.
Very, very nice.
Okay.
Okay. And what do you like to do in your spare time? Did I ask you that?
You said, what do you like to do for fun?
So outside of the office, you will.
Hey, these are your
questions.
questions.
It's just a piece of paper. Okay.
So outside of the office, you will find me in the garden or in the kitchen. I enjoy cooking and baking and planting things and seeing them grow.
Do you have any favorite recipes? Anything that you're really good at that you like making?
Rum cake.
Oh, rum cake. Very interesting. Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, so I got one. Let's see here. We know you've just started, but we were wondering if you have a feel not only for Bethel's strengths, which you've spoken to, but what challenges you see for us. Is there anything that has drawn your attention as far as needing improvement? Remember, we only have an hour with a total on this one. So, yeah, I think you should focus, the improvement to, your favorites.
Well, I'm still getting to familiar with things, but tomorrow I'm sorry, not tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm doing a walk around with with Bill Stevens, who you probably all know, just to get familiar with the building and see what needs to be addressed, if there are things that we could be doing while the building is not being utilized for events and activities. So that has certainly been a priority or a focus, and really digging into the sort of structure of the office here to see what needs to be improved. I'm still getting familiar and up to speed with the way that the office works.
Now, before Rabbi Amy does the next question, and we just got another chat question. We do realize that not everyone is good with chat on Zoom or computers or technology. We will try to do something. I will take you off of Spotlight so I can see everyone, and if everyone behaves, we'll let someone wave their hands and we'll unmute them for a live question. So so you want this. So we have 2 more questions, and then we will look for your hands waving in your screen. If you don't know how to unmute, we can unmute you. Here we go. 2 more questions, and then we're going to open it up to the public.
How will you communicate? This is from the congregation. How will you communicate with the rabbis, your office staff, and lay leadership? How do you like to communicate? Meetings, email, etc. What's your preferred method?
Well, I think a mix of both. First of all, I think, and Rabbis Alex and Amy have talked about this with me, we need to have regular meetings so we all know what we're doing. And the same with staff. So at my last job, I led a smaller team and we had meetings regularly. So for us, it was Fridays. And I always felt that was very important to have it Friday afternoon so that Monday morning, we weren't spending our time in a meeting. We were ready to hit the ground running and get done what we needed to get done, rather than coming in and having a meeting. I've done those Monday meetings and I think they're pretty disruptive because you're coming into a couple of days worth of messages and phone calls. So, but email is fine, phone is fine. I tend not to put too much in an email. I subscribe to the don't put in an email what you don't want on a bulletin board. So I don't get too detailed in email.
Very nice.
Which I think is helpful to know, because when you read an email from someone, I haven't noticed this about your emails yet, but when you read an email, it's nice to know if somebody always writes short emails, you can say, oh, okay, I know, that's how they write. Or if it's like me, I always write rather lengthy emails, or text. It's good to know. And if somebody wanted to contact you, Chris, I'm going to offer a follow-up. Sorry, honey. What is the best way? How do you like to be contacted? What is the best way to reach you?
Email or phone, either is just fine.
Okay, okay. My last fruity question, and then what we'll do is I'll open up people who wave their hands in the screen. There's 13 non-video participants. There's also a way to raise your hand if you're a Zoom expert. You probably sent me a chat. But if you want to know how to raise your hand, it is under. Oh, I forgot. So there it goes. Close. I'm still learning myself. Okay. Well, wherever it is. Okay.
It's under participants.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy, our little expert. Okay. So if you go under participants.
She's shaking her head at us.
If you go to participants, we're under participants.
Oh, good. Well, they'll have a different participant.
Oh, they have. You don't have this. That's why I can't find it. You can't raise your hand if you're yourself. Okay. So here goes. And there's another one. It's okay. Fine. Someone making fun of me. Thank you. So here it goes. There you are, Chris, because we're going to see your faces. Here we go. The last easy question, and then we'll open it up since we're running early and we don't run late. That's Okay, no. If you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you be? And hopefully you don't say not here. Okay, so it's
Oh, no. Well, if it wasn't right here, it would be Hawaii. That's the place that's very special to us. So,
what do you like about Hawaii, Chris? What do you enjoy about being there? Why is it your favorite?
believe it or not, I'm not a beach person, but we went there for our 10th anniversary and just fell in love, not necessarily with the beaches, but the beauty of the island.
Yeah,
Great, thank you.
okay, now Chris, what is your email? And I will send that to the entire group that's in the chat right now under chat. So what is your email address?
Okay, it's Chris at bethelkong.org.
Oh, that's a little easy. Okay. So I'm still sending it just in case anyone can't remember. Chris at bethelkong.org. Okay, I just sent it. And now we're going to start with out of about 70 people are on and about 57 squares. 15 are non-video. So we'll start with you. If you want to shake your hands like this, I will call on you and unmute you. Do you see someone shaking their hand? Nicole. Here we go. Okay. Hi, Nicole, that's the first one we saw. Remember, we have different screens. Nicole, you are unmuted.
Can you think of the most successful program that you've been a part of?
Probably. So at the school I was at, I started an event called the Spirit of St. Joseph Award. So during our centennial celebration, we were, wait a minute, am I still there? Am I frozen?
Yeah, no, you're good. I'll warn you.
Okay, it came up with a little notice.
Yeah,
so
don't listen to that.
We went back and forth with, should it be a Hall of Fame, an alumni Hall of Fame? Should it be something else? And we created an event called the Spirit of St. Joseph Award, and we honored people within our school community. You didn't have to be an alumni. You didn't have to be a grad. And so you could be a teacher or a person in the community just connected to the school in some way. And it was people doing the ordinary and extraordinary ways. And it really resonated within the community. And over 5 years, we've really grown it. And that event this year was supposed to be the day before I started at Bethel. So we actually had to postpone it. So I'm looking forward to the day when we're able to have it, and hopefully I'll be able to be there.
Okay. We saw a hand being flown around somewhere. I'm looking for hands. I see it. Sam Freed, I'm coming to you. Not yet, not yet. We can hear you, Sam.
Okay. Chris, welcome. I'm interested in what Jewish holidays, including Shabbat, are your most favorite, and why?
Could you repeat that? I think I was frozen.
Okay, here. Sam, I think
sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What Jewish holidays, including Shabbat, are your most favorite, and why?
Favorite Jewish holidays, Chris?
Well, probably Shabbat, or even a service would be Havdalah. I really enjoy that service. The other one would be Shavuos, and I think, or, I'm sorry, not Shavuos, Sukkot.
No one likes Shavuos.
Yeah, no, I don't know why. But I really like fall. I like harvest, and I don't know, the sukkah always felt nice. So.
Very nice. Okay, now Elaine had her hand raised. Let me find you on the list. Where is she on this picture? Can you see her? I have to find
right
you.
Here.
You
right
found
here.
her. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's why, because it's very pretty, but we don't see Elaine. Elaine, you are live.
No, I'm here.
You're alive.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Chris, for having this forum with us, and I'm very impressed by your responses and welcome you to Bethel. I wonder if you have any questions for the congregants or the rabbis during this.
Ooh.
So Yeah, for the congregants, I'm interested in getting to know you and what opportunities you think this transition might bring about that you would like to see. And so I don't mean to put you or anybody else on the spot, but email me, call me. I'd love to hear from you.
Very nice. And remember, we put Chris's email in your chat section. So if you go to chat, you'll find the email. Anyone want to throw their hands up, raise their hand virtually or physically, we will see you either way. So anyone, oh wait, Joan, is that you? It's a little like half thing. Here we go. I'm trying to unmute you. You have to unmute yourself. And you are still muted. Let me try to get, oh, wait, now you go. Stop, don't touch anything. You are unmuted.
I know. Hi, Chris, I'm Joan. Nice to meet you. So I'm wondering with this, the limitations that have been imposed on us, I mean, you probably, inferred or implied by some of your previous comments, but I'm wondering if you have plans for getting to know congregants without, face-to-face contact. I mean, we don't know how long this is going to go on. It could be next week. I don't think so. Or it could be, much longer until we all meet you and you meet us.
Right. So it is not an ideal way to start a position like this for sure, but I plan on making a lot of phone calls in the coming weeks. I have a couple of projects that are time critical for this week, but after that, I'd like to do that. I have a couple of surprises for religious school students and ways to get connected with our young families. So stay tuned for that. I don't want to ruin this surprise, but lots of phone calls. It's going to have to be.
Very nice. Okay, anyone want to throw a hand up? It's starting to slow down. We have a lot of people. That's actually pretty important. Chris, we should have you on every week because this is a good turn.
Yes, we have 57 participants.
Yeah, and there's a lot of doubles there too. So here's the deal. Next week we have the superintendent of Mount Lebanon. Shirley, are you raising your hand? Shirley Moritz, are you raising your hand? No, she's just playing with her screen.
Okay.
Yeah, we're used to that. Right here. So it's so next week is Mount. What's that?
My turn.
Your turn. Oh, I've stopped talking. Okay, there he goes.
So
oh wait, I think is Chris still okay? She's not frozen.
She's there. Okay, right. So next week we have Tim Steinhauer, who is the superintendent of Mount Lebanon, and he's a great guy and very intelligent, and hopefully we'll have a lot to say about education in this time. So we hope that you will join us at 3:00. And you want to talk about our upcoming things like the virtual Seder or anything else like that?
Oh, we have a virtual Seder. What night?
Thursday night.
5:30. The Sunday email that usually has everything in it and usually missing one thing. Those of you who caught the one thing missing, I'm proud of you. I always hide one thing in it. And that is the time. The time of the virtual Seder is at 5:30 on Thursday night. If you need a Haggadah, that's also linked up in the and also everything's in the Sunday email. What else?
Also, please know that please join us Saturday night for Havdalah at 8. We are going to say goodbye and honor Steve. So please come and raise a glass of soda, a glass of wine to Steve.
Kosher for Passover.
Yep, and we'll say, or not if you don't have it in your house, not for our whole. And we'll do Havdalah. No bread. And we'll do Havdalah together. And if also for services, you'll notice on your email that we sent out a list of prayers and psalms. So if you want to download that and print it off, if you have it, every now and then we'll take a prayer from that. So you can keep that with you for our Friday night or Saturday morning services. I think that's it.
So, Chris, do you have any last words? Now, the way we end meetings, by the way, is we don't just hang up. We learned this pretty early on. We've been doing this. We figured out that today's Monday. We've been doing this for 14 days. I guess this is day 15. It feels like 50.
Dog years.
Yeah,
right?
It feels like a lot of. We just went Zoom 2 Mondays ago, and what we realize is when we're done, we unmute everyone, and then people can talk to each other. There are Yom Tov services. Someone just asked me. Yom Tov services at night. We're doing 5 o'clock because early Seder, so 5 to 5:30 on Yom Tov nights, Wednesday and Thursday night. And on Thursday and Friday morning, we're at 9:15, traditional Torah reading, Haftorah reading. So and then there's also yoga at the same time on Friday. Chris, any last words before we continue explaining? So we unmute everyone, and you can talk among yourselves. If all 55 of you talk at the same time, God bless it. Okay, so
Right.
Chris?
No, I'm glad to be here, and I'm looking forward to getting to know all of you on a more personal level than the virtual realm allows for. But until then, just keep trying our best with this medium.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here with us. It's hard to get to know people this way as an introduction, but we're really happy that you were on with us and that we got people, Alex and Rob, whoever you are, and I have gotten to spend some time with Chris, and we really like her, and we know that you guys will too. So
And
we're
if
very
you all, it's going to be horrible. Here we go, unmuting all, and now everyone we can hear. Everyone we can hear.
Hi, everybody.
Say hi to Chris.
Welcome aboard, Chris.
Welcome.
Aboard, Chris.
Carol and John.
Welcome, Chris.
Welcome, Chris.
Look forward to meeting you in person.
Here.
Chag Sameach, everybody.
Nice to meet you.
Yontif.
Hey, Paul Berkowitz.
Yes.
It's nice to see you at Danny Schiff's class.
Oh, yeah, I'm enjoying that. He does a great job.
Yeah, yesterday was terrific. It really was.
It's been very rewarding.
It's nice to see you at Danny Schiff's
Understand.
class.
Take care, everybody. Thanks again, Chris.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Hi, everyone.
Chag Sameach.
Yeah, bye.
Too hard to talk to people.
And good justice to everyone.
Hi, everybody. Nice to
It's been
see you.
fun.
It's been good to see everybody.
We're ending the meeting now. Thank you.
Bye all.
Thank
Happy
you.
Passover.
Thank you, Rasha.
Passover.
See you later, Chris. Good.
Take care.
Bye, honey. We talked on the phone yesterday.
Thank you.